A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Arthur Schopenhauer. Have you ever noticed that person who lives alone in your neighborhood? Maybe you've seen them strolling around, content in their own company. It might seem strange at first, but what if I told you there's something special about enjoying solitude? Some might think, what a loner. They must be so lonely, but that's not always the case. In reality, solitude can be a super positive thing. People who truly appreciate it might even be healthier and more at ease than those who don't. But hold on a second. This doesn't mean we should all become hermits and ditch our friends and family. There's a sweet spot, a balance between enjoying our own company and connecting with others. And that's what we're going to explore here. So, if you've ever felt a bit curious about what it's like to be alone or wondered if there's more to solitude than just loneliness, you're in the right place. These extracts are about finding that balance and understanding the beauty of being by yourself without cutting ties with the world around you. Think of it as a journey into the world of solitude, where you can discover new things about yourself, connect with nature, and ultimately find a sense of peace within yourself. Just a quick heads up before we get started. We put out new stuff every week, so make sure you don't miss any of it. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the loop with our latest extracts. Let's jump right in. Ever feel like you need more time for yourself? In today's busy world, it's easy to get caught up in socializing and work, leaving little room for solitude. But did you know that spending time alone can actually make you feel happier and more creative? When you're alone, you have a chance to truly understand yourself. Away from the noise and distractions, you can dive deep into what makes you tick and what matters most to you. Think of it as a journey of self-discovery. Take Henry David Thoreau, for example. He spent over 2 years alone in the woods, figuring out his values and reflecting on society. This solitude led him to write the groundbreaking book Walden, which still inspires people today. Being alone isn't just about introspection, it's also a breeding ground for creativity. Many famous creatives like Virginia Woolf swear by solitude as a key ingredient for their work. Woolf believed that without alone time, creativity couldn't flourish, especially for women who faced societal pressures. Even someone as glamorous as Greta Garbo understood the value of solitude. Despite her bustling social life, she chose to retire early and enjoy a simple, solitary existence. This decision allowed her creativity to thrive in peace. So carve out some alone time in your schedule. Whether it's a walk in nature or simply sitting quietly at home, embrace the joys of solitude and unlock your full potential. You might just be surprised at what you discover about yourself and the world around you. Now that you've realized how valuable alone time can be, you might be wondering how to actually find that peaceful solitude. One of the best ways to do it is to get away from the busy city and spend time in nature. When you're surrounded by nature, you feel like you're a part of something bigger, but it's important to be completely alone to really soak in the experience. Even having your dog along can be a distraction. When you're truly alone and focus on the natural world around you, you start to feel a deep connection with nature. People like Thoreau have talked about this feeling. They call it transcendence, like having an experience that's beyond your everyday thoughts. Some people find spiritual meaning in this connection, while others just feel really happy. But either way, being alone is key to having this kind of experience. In the past, many cultures had rituals where people spent time alone before big life events. Like in the Middle Ages, both monks and knights would have a period of solitude to get ready for their new roles. And in Australia, young Aboriginal people go on a walkabout for 6 months to prepare for adulthood. So being alone has been important in lots of different cultures throughout history. Now that we've seen how awesome solitude can be, next we'll tackle why some people think being alone is selfish or dangerous. Have you ever noticed how it's okay for someone to take a solo hike or spend a bit of time alone working on a project? But when someone decides they prefer being alone, suddenly people start to judge. It's kind of weird, right? Especially since our society is all about celebrating individuality. We admire people who express themselves with unique fashion choices or tattoos. So why we get so uncomfortable when someone chooses solitude as their lifestyle? Well, it might have something to do with our history. Philip Koch, a philosophy professor, dug into this in his book Solitude. He found that because humans have always found strength in sticking together, being alone feels unnatural to us. Some people even think wanting to be alone is a sign of something wrong. They worry that if someone spends too much time alone, they might get sad or even hurt themselves. But that's not fair. Just because some studies say being around people makes us happier doesn't mean it's true for everyone. Sure, there are risks to being alone, but there are risks to everything. And if you're craving some alone time, why not go for it? Don't let society's worries stop you from finding your own happiness. Are you curious about what it's like to spend time alone? Maybe you've recently found yourself alone after losing someone close to you. No matter the reason, feeling comfortable on your own is something you can work towards. The first step is recognizing any fears you might have about being alone. Sometimes we say we want alone time, but then struggle to actually enjoy it. This could be because deep down we're scared of being alone. This fear might even lead to feeling upset when we see others enjoying their alone time. To conquer these fears, start small. Instead of rushing through your daily routines, try taking small steps to be alone. For instance, opt for a bath instead of a quick shower. Take your time and focus on the fact that you're alone. You could also practice being alone while surrounded by others, like when you're out shopping or on public transportation. Remember, being alone isn't something to fear. History shows us that it's actually good for us. Take Anthony the Great, for example. He spent 20 years living in isolation and returned to society feeling mentally and physically strong. His lifestyle inspired many others to follow in his footsteps. Similarly, Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, a British-born Tibetan Buddhist nun, lived alone in a cave for 12 years. During that time, she remained healthy and open to others. Once you overcome your fears, you'll find many ways to enjoy your solitude. So take that first step and embrace the freedom of being alone. You might be thinking, how can I find time for solitude in my busy life? Don't worry, there are simple ways to sneak in some alone time. Instead of spending all your free moments reading, watching movies, or listening to music, consider activities that truly let you be alone. Taking quiet walks in nature is a great start. It's free and it can bring you peace and happiness. Plus, it gives you a chance to think about and appreciate nature. Running is another option. It helps you connect with your body and mind. Turn your run into a meditation and discover more about yourself. When you're ready for longer solo periods, try a solo adventure. Pick something challenging but doable, maybe a camping trip or a solo journey to another country. Choose what excites you and fits your abilities. Expanding your alone time can lead to daydreaming and self-reflection. We'll talk more about that in the next section. Remember, finding time for yourself is important. It helps you grow and learn from your own experiences. So don't be afraid to make space for solitude in your life. Remember those days as a kid when you could lose yourself in your imagination for hours. It turns out that the feeling of joy and contentment we get from being alone with our thoughts is something we can tap into even as adults. Psychologist Donald Winnicott suggests that our ability to enjoy solitude as adults stems from our experiences as infants. Back then, once our basic needs were met by our caregivers, we felt safe and free to explore our surroundings on our own. But as we grow older, life gets busier and we lose touch with that sense of security and freedom. The pressures of school and social life can make it hard to find time to be alone and just daydream. However, there's a way to reclaim that feeling of contentment and peace. It's called active imagination, or asterisk reverie, as Carl Jung, a famous psychoanalyst, called it. Jung used this technique to delve into his subconscious, spending time alone recalling memories and dreams and jotting down his thoughts and feelings. He found that many of his happiest memories were tied to moments of solitude from his childhood. So he encouraged his patients to embrace solitude, reconnect with those joyful memories, and create their own safe space for daydreaming. While we can't change our past, we can certainly shape our future. By embracing solitude and tapping into our active imagination, we can rediscover the happiness and contentment we experienced as kids and pass on the gift of safe alone time to others. You might think it's easy to figure out how much alone time you need. Are you shy or are you outgoing? That's the question, right? Well, not quite. See, it's not that simple. First off, labeling people as introverts or extroverts is tricky. People act differently depending on the situation. Let's say you ask someone if she likes going to parties, thinking the answer will tell you if she's an introvert or an extrovert. The rational response would be that it depends on what kind of party it is and who else will be there. And it's not just about personality. Different cultures see things differently. In Japan, being introverted is cool, but in the US, being outgoing is prized. So if you ask the same personality questions in both places, you'll probably get different answers. The truth is, we're all unique. There's no one size fits all when it comes to alone time. It's the same with how much alone time we need. There's no science to it. You just have to figure out what feels right for you. Just like how you choose your clothes, you should choose your alone time. In our world, being different is celebrated. So why should alone time be any different? You should decide how much alone time feels right for you without anyone else telling you otherwise. We're all different, and that's okay. Some of us need more alone time than others. The more you know about yourself, the easier it'll be to figure out how much alone time you need. Bottom line, respect each other's choices when it comes to alone time. It's personal after all. So we've been talking a lot about the power of solitude, right? And here's the thing, in a world that's all about freedom and doing your own thing, it's totally cool to embrace your alone time. Trust me, there's so much good stuff waiting for you when you do. Now, let's break it down into some actionable steps. First off, start small and simple. When you're feeling the urge to be alone but don't know where to begin, think about something you already enjoy doing. Maybe it's hopping on your bike for a ride or chilling at your favorite cafe. Take that activity and just add a little extra time to it, like 15 to 30 minutes. And here's the key. Use that time to really focus on you. Sure, you might be surrounded by others, but in your heart, you'll be in your own little bubble of peace and solitude. So go ahead and claim your right to some alone time. Dive deep into discovering who you are, soak up the beauty of nature, and let your creativity flow freely. Trust me, you won't regret it. All right, catch you next time, and remember, embrace your solitude. It's where the magic happens. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. We really value your feedback on our content. If you have any thoughts or book recommendations, feel free to share them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Thanks for stopping by, and have an awesome day.